So everybody hit okay.
Should we be on your Zoom? No.
No, you don't have to.
Because we can
It's gonna
swap.
be,
I was just wondering the same thing. I was like, no.
let me get my screen here up and running because it went away. So these guys can see what I'm doing. There we go. Okay, so we're up here and we're running. So what I'm going to talk about today, we've talked about Moxie in the past from a seller's perspective, doing the CMA. There is also a buyer CMA. So if you have a buyer that's going out and looking at properties and they want to make an offer on it, you can do a market analysis. I love that Wendy's dog is right there and that's what I'm seeing. So if you want, so I did this for a buyer a couple of weeks ago. He really thought he wanted this house and then realized it was so overpriced that he wasn't going to make an offer on it. And that's every house right now. Chris, you can come in. Grab a chair.
Yeah, I'll slide down one.
So
Do I need my computer or can I look up there?
no, look up there. Everybody else is multitasking.
A lot.
Steve Lake is not. So I did a very quick market analysis. The challenge for that property, it was a ranch with half of the square footage below grade, and they were counting that as a full square footage in the CMA, and it wasn't going to work out that. So he chose not to. But the one thing he did respond to me, he said, "That was fabulous information from me. I love it. Please keep sending them." So I'm now committed every time he makes an offer to do a CMA for him, but it takes 5 minutes. It really is not a big deal to do a buyer CMA. Then the other thing I'm going to show you how to do today is a buyer's property tour. I'm going to be honest, we don't have a lot of buyers coming in from out of town that are going to see 10 houses in a day anymore. We just don't have 10 properties available for them to see. But in the future, or if you have somebody that says, I'm going to sit there, I'm coming into town and I'm just looking right now, and you kind of know their price range, you can give them a buyer's property tour. It's super professional, brands them to you. And I love it. It's really a smart program. So we're going to go over those two items. And then when I'm done, I'm going to stop recording. And then if you guys have questions regarding what I'm talking about today or any other part of Moxie or Canva, I don't care, whatever you guys need to chat about, this is usually a good time that we all catch up with each other. And this is kind of my core group of people that I'm kind of hanging out. So I'm going to go into Moxie. I'm going to assume, and maybe I'm not going to assume at this point, that you guys know how to get into Moxie, but seeing that we're going to go one-on-one for Mr. John, we're going to go 101. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen.
Eating my breakfast.
That's all right. You can eat your breakfast. Just do it off camera for me.
I'm gonna do that.
So when you log in at 21 Online, all of your tools are under the Productivity Hub right here. They are all alphabetized. I may kick some people off the Wi-Fi soon in here. We'll see how the internet works. Okay.
Okay, so this is one of my pain points, is going through the Productivity Hub menu, alphabetically getting to Moxie, then getting to the next thing. Once you get into MoxiPresent, I dragged the URL to my bookmarks bar,
Oh, good idea.
and it'll just make me sign in if I'm not
Yep.
already signed in.
And the other way to do it is you can mark it as a favorite. Right. And so when you click on your favorites, it'll show up over here.
Oh, cool.
Now I will, so when you're in, I'm going to go back to the Productivity Hub so you guys can see how to mark a favorite, because I have my favorite tools marked. This star is now gold. You guys probably see it as not gold. But if you make it gold, it's adding it to your favorites. And so that is in that pullover bar over here, that menu bar.
For John's, because I do this. It took me a while, it didn't take a while. I get impressed, confused with present at first.
You're going to, it does not matter which one you click here, you're
Yeah.
going to log into Moxie.
Alright.
This will all change once the entire system gets Moxie. You have to remember that we are an early access company. There are some companies that will not get this until the fall. So they can't make it universally accessible yet, but they will. Eventually, you're going to have one Moxie button, and it's not going to say learn more. It's just going to be the access Moxie. But because we are an early access company, we have to go into it this way. If you weren't an early access company, you wouldn't get the enter Moxie button on your screen. So that is why. So this is your home screen, and this is where all of your tools are, your present, your impress, promote. We have not even delved into yet. You guys may not have a directory. I have a broker account. So promote, just so you know what it is the social media paid advertisements, similar to our social ad engine. I think that they still have a contract with social ad engine, so that's why they haven't pushed the promote. When websites and engage are available, they will be up here as well. That is supposed to be January 24th, and if it changes, I will let you know. So we're going to go into present. So these are my current presentations. So what I wanted to do is create a new presentation. So we're going to hit create new. We are working with a buyer. Hit continue.
Okay, so I clicked on Moxie present and I
Yep.
don't see a create new.
On the upper right-hand side, the blue button.
Quick access.
You gotta go to that, you might not be quite in there yet. So, there we go.
No, that's why we do it. And I know Joe's been in it quite a bit. So
Scroll-
You're sitting
scroll
next to the
top.
teacher's pet. You got good help over there.
hey, I love it when you guys teach each other, because that's one less thing I have to do.
And we're in buyer, not buyer tour, correct?
We're in buyer for right now. We will go to buyer tour next.
Okay.
And up
We're
here,
gonna do
create
buyer
new.
first. I
And
can't see my MLS because of this.
All right. Joe,
These are the worst one does.
I'll thank you at the end. No worries.
All right, just, okay. So, sorry, I need to be able to see my MLS to get a MLS ID. So we're just doing the default buyer. There is crazier stuff in there, but I don't personally have any templates, but we have a brokerage template default buyer. That's all that I'm using. You want to pick, you obviously, who are you doing this for? My poor husband gets picked on a lot. If you're a member of both MLS PIN and MLS and Rhode Island, you need to select the state that you are searching in. So I want to search in Rhode Island. Unfortunately, you cannot search in both states. I wish that we could. I'm going to do a classic because it's not a luxury home, and then I'm just going to hit create. It takes a couple of minutes, couple of seconds. Be patient. While it's creating, I'm going to go back and grab an MLS ID. Because I'm sure that lots of people have looked at this house.
Mel Coach.
Oh, is it Mail Coach?
Yeah, and it's 2 words.
So I want to use Mail Coach. I'm just going to copy the MLS ID. Let me get back in there. So you guys can see my MoxiPresent screen?
Mhm.
Okay. So here's the listing MLS ID. I copied it from the MLS, so I just did Control V. That's a paste. You can also right click and paste right here. And I'm going to import the information.
1301%.
The nice thing is it brings in the first picture as well, so you don't have to upload a picture for your buyer. You can, so this is the information that the listing agent did. I love that I can go in and make my own remarks for my buyer. because we probably already saw this house, so I can give my opinion of the house while we were there. Shelley, give me some opinion. You've shown this house.
Decent space, needs some updating, great neighborhood. Big garage.
Yeah.
Huge.
So one of the things that I do in my CMAs is I put my messages all in caps. So
That's a
that
good
they
idea.
stand out from the
Differentiate, yep.
descriptor of the listing agent.
And that's a good idea. So I've just been doing that, my remarks versus listing agent remarks. And so what Joe is saying, and I'm just going to do it from the my remarks right now. He does that all in caps so that they know that it is his comment.
Oh,
So you can sit there and
I don't
you can
care.
also delete information. Like I could care less that there's an open house on Saturday from 11:30 to 1, so I can delete that. If they sit there and put like financing information in there, so you may not want to leave those remarks in there. There's some sneaky stuff being done from some of these realtors on their remarks. So you can delete the stuff like their embedded marketing that you don't want your buyer to have. You can delete that information. Obviously, they've already seen it because you've given them an MLS handout. One of my favorite things about working with buyers is this right here. It's called Enriched Drive Time. It's optional, but I like it. So let's say this person is going to be working, they're going to the Naval War College. So I need the address of the Naval War College, which is, I should know, 686 Cushing Road. So I want to add 686. I did this yesterday, so Newport. All right, the base is 02841. So I'm going to set that as my location, because the cool thing about this, I'm going to show you in a second, it will show you what the drive time is to and from that house at different times of the day. So on your way to work, or on your way home from work, so your buyer will be able to see. So if they sit there and say they're coming from out of the area, Rhode Island's so small, I can live anywhere. I can live in Cumberland and work on the base. They all say it when they're moving here.
In June.
So if you give them that enriched drive time of how long it's going to take to get to and from that base, it may be a little bit more eye-opening. This is works especially well with the buyer's tour. So
How are those other ones populated? That's one thing I couldn't figure out.
So this is based on distance. Right now, this is based on distance, and you'll see it's right here. It says distance. You have a pull down menu right here. If you want to do it based on price, you could do it by price. I know a lot of us do it by price, but honestly, from right now, there's enough comps in that neighborhood from the last 6 months that you're okay.
Oh, so
So if you're not
those are
fine,
comps.
yeah, these are the comps that the MLS is pulling. What I love about Moxie is you don't have to go in the MLS. When you were in Toolkit, you'd have to go into the MLS, find the MLS IDs, copy them down, and then bring them into Toolkit. Everything is self-contained in Moxie. So if you make this map wider,
Just speaking to that, yesterday I did a seller CMA for one of my past buyers. And the comps that they pulled in really were not appropriate comps for the property. So I did have to go into the MLS.
well, Patty, what you can, most of the time, it's because their filters are messed up. So if you're not seeing the comps that you think you're supposed to be seeing, go into your filters. See, this is only doing 1,000 to 1,400 square feet. I would open that up much wider if I'm trying to comp a property right now. I mean, I don't care about the lot size, 1/4 of an acre to 3 acres, that's fine, whatever. So you can go in here and you can select, maybe I only want to look at ranches.
Don't check it.
I mean, so that kind of does make sense. Go ahead.
I wipe out 2 defaults
Yeah.
and then add in each.
Right, that's what-
parameter one
exactly.
at a time.
So because I don't always like what I'm seeing, if you do 2 defaults here, you're gonna open this up. You saw all the dots that were added? Because I cleared that. Then I'm gonna go in, and this property is listed $399, I think.
Yep.
So I might start looking at prices. I might go from 325 to 450. I narrowed down, probably pretty accurate for this right now, honestly. There's 3 solds in the neighborhood. I mean, you really don't need more than 3 solds for an appraiser. So this could be pretty easy for me. I could literally select those 3 and it's gonna,
I don't even know where Pioneer Lane is.
you don't know where Pioneer Lane is?
No.
All right, so let's look at the details. If you don't know where a listing is,
You're so great.
you open this up and you sit there and you, there, I know there's a map in here, sorry. There we are, scroll down. We got a map here. So we're on the, we're over across the street from Union.
How about that?
How about that? And you can scroll, you should be able to scroll in, I guess
I
not.
drove by it 3 times yesterday. Didn't know where it was.
Well,
And I'm telling you, I mean, I learned, like, I'm like, wow, okay, so honestly, that's not that far from the house.
Right.
So I would include this. So while I'm looking at these listing details and I want to include this listing, all I got to do is click that X, that box right there, and it's going to include that listing as well. Obviously that's inactive because that's the one we're looking at, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. So we're just, we don't need to put it in there. It's already in there up here. So I'm going to be putting these 4 listings in. Now, again, if you get stuck and you're not getting what you're looking for, like I could sit there and say, I only want ranches. 1 levels. That's all I want because I'm comping a ranch.
Mhm.
Be careful that you don't get too specific because you could really just lose a lot of listings that are probably still comps. It's hard right now. I'm not going to lie to you. We're getting lucky on this one. So
Well,
this,
and remember, not to interrupt Chris, but when you're narrowing things down, you're narrowing down information that listing agents have put in the MLS. And not all of them put in accurate information or complete information. So if you just search for ranch and somehow they, didn't pick that filter, I know style of house they have to, but you might, like with water views, we see it all the time. Some people will check off that there's a water view, some people won't. So don't put in a filter that's going to eliminate too much. Your eyes are still better than
The
anything.
YouTube that I watched yesterday,
Mhm.
they just basically,
that's the buyer's drive tour, the buyer's tour that they did yesterday. They didn't do this part yesterday.
and so why, I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad idea, but are we gonna do this for like 7 houses or we
Yes.
just, oh, okay. all
Yes.
right, all right.
We're gonna do both. This is the buyer's CMA. So this is, you've got a buyer, I know Shelley showed this last night. They want to put an offer in, but they want to make sure they're
Oh,
not
okay, all right,
overpaying.
all right. So-
Everybody's overpaying right now. So
Yeah.
maybe, but you have to caveat, that is your job to set those expectations and educate your client on what the current market is doing.
Right.
So, and then if you're happy with these, and from a demonstration standpoint, I'm pretty happy with 4 listings. Pretty happy I have 4 solds. Say you know that there is a for sale by owner that closed in that neighborhood. You know that neighborhood so well that you know there was a for sale by owner. Add a custom listing. You can add a custom listing. If you sit there and look at these and you click on the listing details and it opens it up and you're like, ooh, wow, this doesn't really cut it. This is, I don't like this one. You can uncheck that box. It'll eliminate it. You can eliminate it over here. I don't add adjustments. I am not an appraiser. I don't know what those values are. I don't know how much a half bathroom adds, a 2-bay garage. I don't know those numbers. I am not an appraiser. So, and then if you want to go back and you want to add more listings, all you do is hit add more listings.
You only went back, what, 6 months?
It automatically goes back 6 months.
Right.
There's been enough sold. If you went back a year, you would realize that I way underpriced a house in this neighborhood. They would have gotten a lot more
Well,
money.
The market is changing quickly.
Significantly, the market changed since I last sold something in here. So then when you're happy, you're going to hit continue. They're saying this should go on the market. This should go for 355. I think it's a little low. I don't change this number, but what I might do is create a range. I might say, let's do plus or minus 5%. Still low. Let's just for these purposes,
What were they asking for? Brian?
$399.
And how many days is it on August?
Came on Monday morning, 9 o'clock.
So,
It's gonna be gone by the weekend,
Hmm.
and it's gonna be gone for $399 or more over the weekend. This is just the reality of what we're dealing with. On paper, some of these prices are not making sense.
So my point is, how do you, I mean, I know how I would, but how would you describe that to them? And like, this is probably gonna go more than $399 based on the market.
And that's one of the
That's-
challenges of this market. You have to outweigh that to what your
But
personal
would you-
needs are.
Would you do it in there, or you just, because if they see,
This is a conversation I would have had at the showing.
right,
I would have said, not in the house, outside
Yeah.
the house, by the car.
yeah,
I would have had the conversation with them. It is an extremely hot market, and it's hot market because we have no inventory. We don't
Yeah.
even have low inventory. We
Yeah.
have no inventory in this market. So I would have, and your buyer knows this by now. If your buyers are out there looking right now, they, that's not a good face, Elizabeth. So they know what they're dealing with. Are they willing to sit there and pay over what the market says that house should be, go for?
so you would, sorry, so in other words, in your range, how do I say this? You wouldn't reflect the fact that you know it's gonna go for $399 or more.
I would, you could, but this is based, couple, and here's the other thing, let me just apply
Because
this
if
for now.
if a buyer
Here's a
can-
couple things that we're gonna be talking about with them.
Yeah,
The average sales price of the properties that have sold are $396,750.
yeah,
This number is also square footage of the subject property based on average per square foot, puts them at 415,701. So this is a more accurate picture than I think this estimate pricing is.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Chris, do you know when I'm selecting these individual comps,
Yep,
I'm not getting the normal pop-up that I usually get
you don't get it there in the picture, you get it over there in the details.
over here?
If you go to the right and it says details,
Oh,
if you click that, then
it used to be if I clicked on
you should
the
still be able
dot
to
on
click
the
on the
map, it
dot.
would pop that up, but thank you.
So
That works.
Chris, there's a spot here for remarks.
all right. Is that
And this is a computer system
Yeah.
doing a calculation.
all right,
So I would explain in these remarks, while the estimate is significantly lower than the asking price, we have to look at other factors. We have to look at the fact that the average sales price is $396. The price per square foot for that house is $415.
so I'm not, I don't want to take it.
Ask the questions because somebody else
So I
is
had a
thinking
very
this.
old fashioned buyer. Okay, that wanted a house that she actually bought. But originally, and I explained to her, it said right in the listing, last and final offers due by whatever date it was.
Mhm.
So I had to explain what that meant. So she kept saying to me, well, I want to start at, I said, you can't start at, what's your last and final? And I had because she's used to this back and forth negotiating, because she's an old, she's in
Yep.
her 70s.
But she's not even old fashioned.
Yeah,
3 years ago, could you
Yeah.
have imagined that we were doing highest and best on your first offer?
yeah. But I think
No,
if I
but
had showed her that, she'd go, see what I'm telling you? You know what I mean? That's why I'm afraid. She ended up getting it for whatever, at cost.
Yes, sales price. She paid,
Yeah,
she
and
paid what it was
cash,
listed.
and that's the only reason why the cash is the reason why she.
Right.
only got
Well,
it.
and that's the other thing, you have to have that conversation with your buyers. It is not just about price sometimes. Sometimes it's about terms.
Yeah,
So if your price is not as competitive as you think it's going to be,
yeah,
if you can waive that mortgage contingency, and please do not do that without a conversation with a manager and the
Yeah.
mortgage broker. If you want to do inspections for informational purposes only, but you have to educate them when they put that in a contract, because they can't go back and nitpick the seller if they're doing for informational purposes
But I
only.
thought that if you did that and you found something you didn't like, you could still.
You can
get it.
still, I'm just saying, you can't nitpick. You can't sit there and say, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I found something I don't like. I want you to fix it before close.
Or you can get out.
You can sit there and say, I'm not satisfied with the inspections because you
Yeah.
did not waive your 10-day right to inspections.
Yeah.
This is a huge problem in this industry right now that people do not understand what this means. If you're doing informational purposes only and you waive that inspections, then you don't have an out.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
You got to know the difference
Yeah,
between
yeah,
those.
yeah.
And that's really, really important right now.
Nothing that Chris is showing us here in Moxie replaces your expertise.
Exactly what I was gonna say.
Mhm.
This
Mhm.
supports what you're saying. This gives them further education, but you are still the person who is responsible for making sure your buyers are educated and making the best decision for them.
And just like any other CMA or any other system that'll give you a CMA, you can make the numbers different.
I know
Yeah.
that, but. you-
Well, and I
I know
in the
that, I
past
know.
I haven't, but I'm just gonna change my mind about this because they're giving you the low price on a sold. The average price is $396, $750. I would probably pop that number up in there. Because that's the average, not the low.
This would be a question for Moxie. Why is that number
And that is-
355? It's because of that. They went with the
It's, they went
low.
with the low.
Okay, all right, that makes
And
sense.
you need to know that they went with the low. So maybe you want to go with an average. Maybe it's a hot, or maybe you want to go with the average and you want to do plus or minus 5%.
Yeah,
So when our buyers do see this, they're seeing that summary of the low, the average, and the high, correct? So
Yes,
I
they will
think
see this.
as a good practice rule, it does make sense to put that average in there.
so do they like we would normally consider square footage of the house and all that when they put their estimates in?
Mhm.
All right.
Yeah,
square
that's why
footage
they're
first.
doing dollars per square foot
All
here.
right, okay. all right.
And that's where they get the 415
All right,
number.
all right.
This
That's
right
right.
here is where your market expertise comes into play.
Yeah, because I'll be
I
honest
think
with you,
that
if
number's
I
exactly right.
showed Sherry this, she'd be going, I told you, like, you're. and
Right,
so,
but
yeah,
that's a big difference going from 355 to 396. That is what, that house is listed at 399. That average number is exactly
I
right.
mean, I basically had to say, do you want this house?
And that's part of the
Yeah.
conversation right now.
Yeah.
All right,
Do you want this house?
yeah. All right.
In the end of at the end of the day, this is a contract between a buyer and a seller. This is
Yeah.
not an agent does not sign that contract.
Yeah.
This is between the buyer and the seller. Like when I make an offer, I never say we are offering. I say the buyer is offering because it is their offer. You have done everything that you can do
All right.
to educate them. My tagline, I make suggestions, you make decisions, and I live and die by that. Because it is our job to make suggestions,
Right,
but
right.
the ultimate decision, and they're the ones that are going to have to lay down at night and fall asleep in that house and make sure and feel comfortable about what they did. I don't ever want anybody buying a house because they feel like they had to buy that house unless that's their decision.
No, it's their money.
So know that once you hit continue on this screen and you send this to them, this number never changes. Your estimate pricing never changes. The numbers over here on the left-hand side can change.
Right,
So if something closes or it probably wouldn't close on this one because we're only dealing with solds. But if you had actives, I didn't have any actives to add to this one.
Yeah.
But if you had actives and that active property sold or went under contract, these numbers may change on the left-hand side. This number will not change. The reason why this number never changes is because they don't want to put you in a bad position. And this is more from a seller CMA standpoint. If you sit there and send this, you've done all this work and you've got a $399 list price and 3 things close between now and the time that you meet with that client and that number closed, but your whole script going into this presentation is based on your original number, they don't want to put you in a bad position.
But you could say, listen, since I did this, 3 things closed, and maybe we have a little more room.
Yes,
All right.
100%. And that's where your expertise comes in
Right.
about the market. These numbers on the side will change.
All right.
So they will see changes into these numbers on the side. So their average may go up, may go down.
All right.
And that's a conversation for you to have with them. So if you've sent somebody a CMA like on Monday and you said, I'm going to come out on Thursday and I'm going to view this with you and we're going to have a conversation. So please look at it. And between now and then, and I would never do a Monday to a Thursday. I would do maybe the day before, but everybody's life is different. So I would always go into this and I would make sure I review that CMA prior to going in to make sure nothing has changed.
All right.
So I got chats. Patty, yeah, that's what I would do, Patty.
Thank you. Thanks, Jules.
So this is this is the report right here. You can click through each one of these. We should be emailing this, not printing this. It's much nicer emailed. Print is very non-interactive. Emailing is, they can click on everything and look at a lot of information. Listing overview. Well, let me go through each one. So your property summary, this is the information that was brought in from the MLS. You'll see there's my remarks and there's the listing agent remarks.
They've already seen the house.
They've already seen the house, correct. If there was something wrong about this, maybe they were including below ground square footage.
Yeah.
Or maybe you were there and it wasn't really electric heat, it was oil heat, because
Yeah.
there's agents that don't understand
Yeah.
how a house
Yeah.
works. You could make those comments in there. If there was something that they loved or hated, bring it up.
So can I hate to dominate, but this also happened. The tax on a house, the tax records were wrong. They had 4 bedrooms and only four bathrooms and only 3.
Mhm.
So can I change that since I walked through the house, or I have to?
No,
go
you
by
just have to go by what's in there, but you can make a remark, say, the tax record is incorrect. So
okay.
so this is really a 3-bedroom, 3-bath house versus a 4-bath house.
Okay, all right.
Your listing location map. So this is going to show them where they are on the map. They can click on these listings. That's their subject property. So this is your drive time in here. So when they click on something, and they're going to calculate their drive time to the base. So you're going to see 5 a.m. It's time to leave for work. It's 18 minutes to the base. It's less. I mean, obviously we live on an island, so this is all kind of a little bit. Sometimes when you look at these, when you're looking at like Dallas, Texas,
Yeah.
you saw that probably when
Yeah.
they were looking at Plano, Texas in the video. That's when you start to see like some crazy different drive times for property locations. But this is a good way for you to show people you can't live anywhere on Rhode Island. You can, but you're gonna be driving. And then you can also do it work from home.
So what
It's
is,
gonna tell you when the good time. So if you can work nights in Newport, that's great.
so you went to see the house, I'm just making this up. You went to see the house on Saturday. They
Mhm.
want to put a bid in. Thursday might be too late.
I could do this. I could create this in.
No, but I'm saying that if they want to think about it for a week, it could be gone for a week.
Oh, it will be gone, and that's your job to set that expectation.
All right, okay.
I was just using Monday to Thursday as an example. But no, this is something that and they can get directions from the base when you're in here.
Yeah.
Bless you.
It comes directly from Google. Great when they're clicking on it on their phone, because then they get directions from where they are on their phone. But this will show them how to get to the base from their house. No, I'm sorry. This is telling them how to get from where they are right now to the house. You see, this is where we are right now. So this is going to tell them. So this works especially well for buyer property tour, because when they're in there, they can go and click the next listing as you're going on a tour, and it sends the directions right to Google Maps on their phone.
So my last question.
No, it's not,
For
but
this
that's
time.
okay.
So you took them to see 4 houses on Saturday,
Mhm.
and they liked 3 of them, and are considering one of the 3. Can you put those other 2 in this one? or
You
gotta do a
can, but I
presentation?
would personally do a different CMA for
Okay.
each house.
All right, okay.
I would definitely do an for each house. So this is just, these are just easy ways to see these houses. Click out of this, and then I can go to the next house, you can go to all of them. It's going to give you a listing overview, and this is just a different version. Everybody's different on how they like to look at properties. The side-by-side comparison. So if you see an area, original list price is blank, and you want to clean this up, you don't want to have all these blank lines in here. So original listing price, you can take them out. So I'll show you how to take them out. So I'm not, that's probably, or maybe there's one that's not in there that you want to add in. You click the edit button. And so it's going to, those are comparable features. Sorry, I'm gonna move my. Maybe you want lot dimensions on there, land tenure. We don't care about land tenure.
Go down, pricing is lower there.
So you close that window. So I don't want original list price in there because they're all blank. So I don't need the original, there wasn't any price adjustments. So if I,
Said you had to save, or it saves automatically.
it
right?
saves automatically, and then it'll update this. When I click on it again, that line's gone. What it does is just makes it cleaner for when your client views it. So there's status comparisons. There's a lot of information on here. I leave it all in because some buyers like to click on everything. Some don't want to click on anything. There's a lot of buyers out there that they like this. So you can see, I mean, these are all interactive. If you were to print this, I would get rid of this page. Price and days on market, because it's not interactive. It's just going to be this screen with 4 dots. So this is where we were talking about price and size. This is the price analysis is where I'm saying that's where it should be. I did not do closing costs. You can do closing costs in here if you want. Because I didn't do it, I'm just going to remove that page for now. I will tell you, I'm one of these people that you should make sure that you look at your profile, because I should not have this in here twice.
So that's one of the pages that you created and you added.
Nope,
No.
this is from Dash.
Oh, all right.
This is from Dash. Like,
So-
I don't know what this is, so I probably need to go into Dash and look at my settings. This is from Dash.
Yeah, those are
100%.
the different certifications you have, so that's gonna be
It may be
one
like
of
a
those.
reload type thing.
It's a reload
So
one.
Steve's afraid to ask this question, so I'll ask him for him. The other day when we were creating pages.
Yep.
Could I put a page in?
Absolutely.
All
So, okay, so say I want to add a page, and I'm not going to create it right now. I'm just going to add one that I've already created. I want to put my testimonial page in here. I created a testimonial page. It's under my pages. These are all the ones that you could put in from Century 21. There's a lot that you can put in if you click Century 21. There's 238 pages. Please do not make a CMA that's 238 pages long.
Somebody's gonna do it.
Somebody will do it.
Somebody already has.
So I created my client testimonials in here. And I've told you guys this, and I think that I've said this. Century 21 is working with Real Satisfied to import them in. They haven't come to an agreement on the terms of that yet, so they're not there yet. So I've created my own client testimonial page. So I'm gonna go, so I've added that. You'll see that because it's changed from blue to red. And then I'm gonna go back to my presentation.
Wait, do that one more time. Wait.
Yes, ma'am.
Go back. What did you just do?
So so you click add a page,
Yes,
add from the library.
right.
The custom pages that I've created are already here. You'll see I've created 5 pages.
Yeah, see that.
So it's already there. I created my client testimonial page. I can click on it so you can see it.
Okay,
And if you don't have these graphics from your client testimonials, have a conversation with me or your manager, and I can email you like your last 5 or 6. You guys
Okay.
don't have, if you guys didn't save them from when when you received them, I have them.
okay.
So I'm not gonna do any, I'm not gonna change anything because it's fine.
So you don't, I just put 3 in. You have to put them
Then it's
all
fine. You know, you put whatever you want. It's
Mhm.
your CMA.
Whatever you want.
So Julie, I had it removed. That's the way it showed up. So I added it.
Okay,
Okay. So then you click the pull down arrow and go back to presentation. It has automatically put it
The first.
at the top. I don't want it there. I want it kind of right before my profile. So this way, when they click on here, they remember how freaking fabulous I am. See, it even says in the conference room here. But so this is how you add, and the reason I use the graphics versus just copy pasting text, because this is, I couldn't have changed things in here. So Chris has a couple of spelling errors and somebody called him Christ in one of his testimonials. We can't change that. So Chris is Christ today.
Who would want to?
So once you're done with this, you can view it. You can either print or web view it. I always web view it because that's the way I'm sending it. I'm not printing it.
Did you ever figure out why you could see something on web and not print with my pages?
No, I have not. So you can scroll down. I mean, you don't have to, but if you want to see what it looks like from, this is the way the consumer is going to see this. So it is a good idea until you're really comfortable with this, that you go down and you see what they're going to see, because guess what? They're going to ask you a question about it and you better be able to answer why that, what's in there and why. So when you're happy with it, and you can do everything the consumer does in here, you can click on it, you can get directions, click back out of it with the X. If you were going to the subject property, you're going to get directions again. So once you're happy with this, you can send it. There's a send button right here. This is almost identical to Toolkit for sending stuff. Send it to yourself. Actually, it should automatically send a copy to myself is clicked. So it would go to myself. I'll send it to my Gmail. I think it's, is it 47?
Yep.
I don't call it a CMA. Does the consumer know what a CMA stands for? No, I call it a pricing analysis or comparable price market analysis, whatever you want to call it, but make sure you're not using acronyms. Say, hi, John, write your message and hit send, and then you're going to get a copy of it as well. So does anybody have any questions on this portion?
I have a comment.
Okay.
Do you want to speak to
I will.
eliminating all
Yep.
of the photos that
Yep.
get imported?
Yep. So if you're going to print,
Oh,
if you're going, this is only if you're going to print. If you're just staying on the web, then you don't have to worry about this. On your listing overview, there is an edit button. So for your PDF, it is showing that you are going to allow, the default is every picture gets brought in. So if say the MLS allows 50 pictures and that agent put 50 pictures on 4 listings, and you can do 12 per, 50 times 4 is 200, 12 pages. That's a lot of pages of just pictures and ink. So it'll kill our copiers. So if you do have to print this out because you just have that one person that does not do computers, slide this up to 12. Why 12? Because 12 pictures fit on a page.
so that's for every one of the comps and everything.
Mhm.
This will do it for everything.
So you're
Yep.
gonna get 12 pictures.
You're gonna
for
get the
every comp.
first 12 pictures.
All right.
So you get 1 page of pictures for each listing. in
So
there.
now when I view this as a PDF, it does take a minute, but not as bad as Toolkit. Toolkit used to take forever to load.
Is there a mobile view too?
Mhm.
All right.
It is set for any mobile device.
Mhm.
I've done it on my iPad, I've done it on my phone, I've done it on my laptop, I've done it on a desktop. It, not the PDF, but the web version will.
Mhm.
I don't love this for a couple of reasons. It's not interactive. I hate like this, they're gonna get a page and look at it, almost the rest of the
Yeah.
page is blank. It's just not optimized very well, but you will see. So now that I've done this, I've sat there and this is the other reason I don't like this, because agents don't know how to market properties. Never ever put 5 outside, just from this is really, and this more for us as well. Century 21 creates all of your listings into a YouTube video. if I'm on YouTube and this is where I am 15, 20 seconds into this, I'm out. I'm bored. I
Mhm.
want to see the 5 best pictures for that listing right away to engage me. I want to have another reason to continue to watch that video or scroll through that listing. So please, nobody needs this many. Just because they give you 48 pictures doesn't mean you have to have 48 pictures or 50, whatever they give us.
See, this isn't a question.
I'm not even in the house yet. I got 12
Super
pictures
annoyed.
and I'm not even in the house yet.
So again, my old fashioned buyer, I sent her everything digitally and she likes to print it out. So how do I send her the web thing set up so that if she did print it out, she doesn't get 100 and some odd pictures? Not gonna happen. Just
You
tell her
could-
don't print out.
You could send her a PDF as an attachment.
All right, okay.
I would send her both. I would say, here,
Yeah.
this is digitally.
All
I
right.
will send you the PDF if you prefer to print it out, but
Right.
it's a bit more interactive if you look at it digitally.
Yeah.
Because you can just download this.
But you'll
like any
start to
other
see, I
PDF.
mean, you're getting a whole lot more pictures this way.
Couldn't take the magnets off this one.
Yeah, there's some things I could go into staging 101, but that's not this kind of class, so we'll do that another day. But I can nitpick pictures left and right. There's just little things. Toilet seats up are my biggest
Oh my
pet
God.
peeve in a house. biggest
No
pet
idea.
peeve.
I have a file folder on my desktop called Lid Up, and I save them. There will be an expose one day.
Just for the love of God, close the toilet seat and don't take a picture of yourself in the mirror.
I did that once.
Oh,
Shelley yelled at me.
yes, I did yell at you.
So that's kind of off topic.
Thus, that's how
Sorry.
John Farley got involved after that.
Yeah. Yeah, my husband it has been drilled into my husband's head that when you take
He will
pictures,
put down a toilet.
put down the
seat.
toilet seat.
He knows. He goes, I'm putting this down or else my wife's gonna yell at me for taking a picture.
What you got,
This
Elizabeth?
is a little back to the beginning, and it may be a one-off that's my issue, but I was trying to do the drive time thing.
Mhm.
And I plugged in where my clients live now, which is in Mass, because they're gonna leave some of the family there. You know, it won't find it.
I couldn't, mine wasn't popping in either.
Okay.
Really from
Yeah.
Mass or for?
No, I did the same
Even
address
local?
you did, but I'm not finding it.
Okay.
So it's supposed to be in listing location?
No, let's go. So we're gonna, okay. So,
Sorry.
I
no,
think the
that's-
reason is because you're trying to input a listing and it's not a listing. Their house is not listed, so it's not finding it.
No, it should be just a Google map.
I found, so let's go back to property. Let's start with buyer property tour and let me do a different address to see if
Okay.
it's if it's an issue that I can put a support ticket in for, or if it's something else. So this is the buyer's market analysis. Super easy to do. Obviously, I took a little bit longer today, but I could have done this in about 5 minutes. And you will too, as you do them.
If it wasn't for Chris Parati.
Yeah, I know, you know,
Jeez.
you know.
Steve, that's Steve kicking me in the leg. That's just a miss.
Okay.
But I love questions. And so I'm learning this with you guys.
Mhm.
I didn't know this 2 months ago. I did not know a thing about this. So I need the questions because I need to know what questions to ask them when I'm on a call. So I'm on a call
All the time.
Thursday and then, yeah, I'm probably on 2 or 3 calls a week learning about this for you guys. So if you have a question that needs to be answered, unfortunately, a good friend of mine is one of the Moxie tech people. Remember Debbie Williams, who we saw?
It's not that girl. that's
No,
coming.
you weren't on convention. You
Okay.
weren't at convention. that
It
one.
does pull it up. It doesn't put a balloon on it.
But where are you finding it? We'll
On the
look at
very
it.
first tab, subject property,
Yeah,
at the bottom.
so I did that.
Intros.
It's,
Click on
it's
that.
down here.
Yeah, you gotta plug in an address
I did, so I'll just put in this one for now.
and set
And then I
location.
hit set location,
Okay, so now it should work.
and then I went. All right, you can move on. I'll stop talking.
Thank you. So we're gonna do a buyer tour. There is, and if you listen to the video, they went in, and if I missed anything on this buyer tour, please go back to our YouTube channel. I don't even know if I'm allowed to be putting these videos on YouTube, but they've given me the MP4, so I'm putting them on. And nobody's told me not to, so. The video that I shared with you guys on yesterday's Moxie Challenge is all about this buyer's tour. You can really skip to about 15 minutes in there and then,
Yeah, they were having problems, right?
yeah.
It was good. It was better than those other things.
Well, because, so in these Moxie Essentials classes that I take every other Thursday, they're open to agents. It's not just a Chris Farley class. So if you guys are interested in that, or if you would prefer that I just upload them to YouTube or both, I'm fine either way. I can send them out to you, but I know it gets overwhelming with the amount of emails that I'm sending about Moxie right now. So that's why I prefer to go in and learn it and then teach it. And it seems to be the preferred way here at Top Sale anyway. So buyer tour, we're going to do a buyer tour. So this is your buyers coming in from out of town. This is especially, we deal with a lot of military. I have had military, completely different market, that have come in and seen 17 properties over a weekend.
Start with a new presentation again. Click on.
We're gonna go-
Back to present.
I'm sorry, we're going to go to home, click the home button. It's on the, for,
Great.
Yeah,
Or just up to
and then go ahead.
Yeah.
Buyer
present.
tour.
on the bottom is buyer tour. You're going to hit continue. You're just, again, using the default one. As you get more proficient at this and you want to play around. But for now, I just want to teach you the basics of getting this done. You're going to hit continue again. I'm going to be in Rhode Island, so I want to make sure I hit the Rhode Island MLS. There's only a classic version of this. There's not a luxury version of this one. If you want your buyers to be able to take notes and give feedback and ratings on a house, make sure this stays on, the green button stays on. So this is when they're touring houses, they can take notes in the program, they can rate it on 5 stars, based on 5 stars. And then when you go back in and look at it, you'll be able to see their notes and their ratings. So like if they go home that night and they want to think about it, they can give you feedback that way. And then just hit create again.
What if you, I mean, a lot of times when I see a house, somebody's the first time I've seen it too. So
Right.
what if you have feedback? Can you put it in there? Or you don't want it, your feedback?
I don't know. That's a good question though.
Well, it's 2 questions. If I have feedback, do I leave it alone or do I?
It's a good question. I have to ask that question. So
I know as a realtor, if I have feedback in a house, I mean, I've gotten my wrist slapped for putting my own opinion on things.
So in Zap, you could. I don't know if there's a way for us to do it in Moxie.
No, but I mean, what I'm saying is, forget about this.
Yeah, okay.
I walk out of a house and there's something that just jumps out at me. Do
If
I say
there's-
something to the buyer
There's
or not?
opinion that it's not, you're not buying the house.
Yeah,
So
Yeah, you need to
I
know
will
your
sit there
buyer.
and say, I'm amazed at what some of my buyers have bought, because I'm like, there's not a day on this earth I would have slept in that house,
yeah.
but it's their house. It's not my
Right.
house. If it's a 30-year-old boiler,
Yeah,
absolutely, I'm going to point that out.
Yeah,
That's
okay,
that's an
alright.
issue with that house, and that, like, if there is.
But you're gonna point it out and say,
it's on the
that's an
disclosures.
old boiler and we definitely need to have that looked at during the
Yeah.
inspection, not,
during the
hey, that boiler needs to be replaced
Right,
and that's
I'm
gonna
not-
cost you
I'm not-
15,000.
heating
So
HVAC person.
what I've noticed, like, difference between now and 3 years ago, is when I went to a showing, they handed me the disclosures, even though I'd already seen them, to
Mhm.
give to you, the buyer.
Yep.
That's not happening anymore.
Because of COVID, people did not want
Not
people
supposed to have that
touching
paper.
stuff.
Okay.
There
Up to
are
you.
agents that will. I went to a
Right.
showing the other day and the agent gave me a showing packet.
So am I allowed to print it off and give it to
You
my?
should be.
Okay. all right.
100%.
I
you should
send
be.
them to my client in advance.
All right.
So that way, if they have any questions during the showing, and I
Right.
still bring them a hard copy, because maybe we want to refer to something during that showing. I don't give it to them until the end, because I can guarantee every time I give a showing packet to my buyer, I need to refer to it.
So
Mhm.
I've gotten this too. I haven't uploaded them yet. I thought when you uploaded a listing, you had to upload the disclosures.
No, you don't have to. It's
Okay.
nice.
All right,
I wish.
Right.
all right, okay.
I wish too, because there's nothing more frustrating than trying to do that.
You know, in
Mhm.
some states that constitutes delivery.
Say that again?
Just uploading it to the MLS puts the onus on the buyer's agent. It constitutes delivery of the disclosures.
Oh, I get you. Yeah, all right.
So for this buyer,
It's interesting.
I am going to do Raytheon. It's very typical. We've had a Raytheon buyer that comes in. And so I need the address for Raytheon. So it's 1847 West Main Road. I don't like that I Google Portsmouth, we spell out west. Google doesn't.
Mhm.
So you have to be careful about whether or not it's going to show up. Okay, so it is going to show up there. So there's my little marker. So that's I'm going to set my location for Raytheon. If I had, so when I did the Naval War College, I found a picture online of the Naval War College. I don't know if there's a picture of Raytheon. Sure, let's use this one. I just right click on it and I save the image to my computer.
Oh, you can put it.
And I just put it in my downloads.
Can't just copy it.
No, because you have to upload it into Present. They want you to upload it here. So I'm just going to hit browse. You don't have to do this. Does it show that I'm paying attention? Yes. So it added the picture of
How
Raytheon.
long has that Raytheon tower been going? The tower's been going for a while, huh?
I have no idea, John. But this is, so this shows how stupid I am because they're gonna say that's not there anymore. So I
No, it's
probably
been like
shouldn't-
20 years probably, I bet.
Well, we can blame the Providence Journal because I stole their picture. There's my rabbit hole for the day. So they're looking, it's not going to show me anything right now. I haven't put any criteria in. We just, so this is, now, if you have MLS IDs, like they've already told you what MLSs they want, you can enter the MLS IDs, separate them by a comma. I haven't done that because I'm just doing it from here. They're Raytheon, so they're that lovely 450. We'll do to 650. That's their price. I'm not going to go beds and baths. So they're looking for Portsmouth. And then I'm going to add 42. And you can draw a map too. I can, no, it didn't take both. It's supposed to take both. It's not. So I'm going to draw.
I did commas, it took them.
Did it?
Yeah.
All right.
I did
This is
three.
me learning. Shelley said do commas for the zip codes. 2809 is
But
Bristol.
it actually took them and spread out further.
Hmm.
So I put in Portsmouth, Bristol, and Middletown,
That's what I
and
just
it did give me like Newport, Warren, Jamestown.
I'm concerned though, because it's telling me that there's no active listings.
Yeah, I've got 400 of them, so I don't know what we're doing different.
Oh, because I'm an idiot.
Oh,
I still had the MLS
There you
selected.
go.
Sorry, guys. Learn from me. Don't be like me. Learn from me.
Is there a marker I can change the font?
You
Oh.
can write sometimes.
Chris is usually awesome.
Awesome-ish.
Hey, I'm learning the same time you guys are learning.
Yours keeps defaulting to the MLS. I don't
why.
know why it's not you.
Oh, see? You want to take that back, Parati?
It's got a memory. I was gonna call John and have him ask you about the tower at Raytheon.
I don't know why you're.
I don't know why it's doing this to me. So.
Change your filters?
I don't know. I mean, 2809. Search. MLS again.
I don't know why it's doing that.
All right, so we don't really know why that's doing that, so we're gonna draw. I'm in the mood for drawing circles. So you can do a radius, or you can draw on the map, or you can. This thing's being a pain in the
When I hit
neck.
that search button, it does the same thing to me.
Goes to the MLS?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Am I hitting the back button?
say that again, Jules?
You can use the back button here. I'm just making sure.
Yes, you can. So I just did a 6-mile radius around Raytheon. I will find out how to select multiple locations. So the nice thing is, if I want to,
Search, it's.
I can go in here and it's gonna ask, I can literally ask them searching
So as
multiple.
long as I don't hit search, it generates it. When I hit that search magnifying glass, it goes to the MLS.
Okay. So now I have 89 listings. Way too many. So let's start narrowing this down. I'm gonna get rid of my solds and I'm gonna clear all of my others. Because, or maybe I'll add coming soon in there. These guys, I mean, they don't care if they're sold, when I'm not doing a CMA here. See how, now we're down to 8. That scares me right now that we have literally 8 listings in a 6-mile radius of Raytheon between 450 and 650. That's how tight this market is. So just from a standpoint of demonstration, I'm going to grab a couple of listings. I'm going to grab this one. This is Prudence Island. So I don't know if everybody knows this, and I think I taught Shelley this. If it starts with a 0 in Portsmouth, it's Prudence Island. So 060 will tell you that is on Prudence Island. Not everybody knows that, so I'm learning that as well.
02872 is Prudence Island, right?
Yeah. Well, I always look when I'm in the
Choose
MLS.
street number.
Yeah, so this, when it says like a 060, it says that's Prudence Island.
Oh.
Mhm. So
Wow.
we learn something new every day. So I'm gonna just grab a couple of listings. There's not a lot in their price range. You can go further narrowing this down if they want a minimum 3 bedrooms. I'm sorry, over here, I could say 3 minimum with no max. I'm scared what that's going to do to the filters. 6. I'm down to 6 now. So you just have to know your buyer. And this is, again, a good opportunity to educate a buyer about why this is like this. We don't have any listings. Shelley has a buyer that is buying a house. They're not going to live in it for 4 years, but they're so scared they're going to come here without having a house. They're going to rent it for 4 years. It's scary.
It is scary.
I think that's a little bit crazy.
Maybe.
I did not get into Bristol here, so I would have to expand this out. So if I wanted to, I could do that. I am going to figure out why I should be able to search. I know the other night, yesterday when I was doing this, I did Middletown. I did a search on Middletown, and then I added Portsmouth. So I should be able to add, but it's not doing that. It's just putting Portsmouth in there. It didn't add Middletown in there as well. So I am going to find out what's going on there. I'd still
Are you
keep my,
deleting these if you don't want the souls?
say that again.
If you delete the souls, how did you delete them?
Under filters on the left-hand side, I unclick sold. And so Chris, you were talking about the system goes back the last 6 months. If you wanted to go further out, you can go the last 12 months.
Okay,
Everything is in filters with the exception of price, bed and bath. And if
okay,
you're not seeing anything that you want, then always go back to the default filters and then fill in your own filters. You know the market better than a computer knows it.
okay.
I hope. If not, we're gonna do more training. So this is saying there's 1 listing in Portsmouth. So I'm gonna go back to my radius draw. Get rid of that.
Yeah, but I've got 2 because there's a multifamily.
Oh, so yeah.
It looks like. Not
So
really sure.
whenever you draw, make sure you hit run search. It's not gonna grab your search until you hit that. I added a few more, a bigger. Okay, so now I'm into Warren. These are good to add just so I can show you the drive time. Because people think, I can work at Raytheon and live in Warren. Good, go for it. Until you go over that Mount Hope Bridge a couple of times. Click I mean, obviously, you would have normally gone into the MLS at this point. I think I'm still on 3 bedrooms. So,
That's why you didn't get the other one.
yeah, that's why I didn't get it. I should get more now that I got one extra one, yay. So I want to pull a couple from different towns so you can see the different, oh, let's pull a Warwick. I don't know how I got into Warwick right now, but I am in Warwick. So these people think that they can drive from Warwick. Obviously, they are on an auto search at this point. You have already been communicating with them. They're already telling you what houses that you want to see. You don't necessarily have to pick them from here. You can have the MLS IDs and just enter the MLS ID up here by clicking MLS.
What's the red dot? That's the local.
That's where,
Raytheon is.
that's, I think, it's coming soon.
Right there.
Yeah. It's where my location is. So I'm going to sit there. Oh, I'm in Warwick because I pulled that one
I
out.
don't have a run search and redraw. I don't have that.
It's only when you click here on the draw button, Julie, or the radius button.
Okay, I did the draw.
You need to be in search
I'm in search
and then do the draw.
and I did the draw and I got the listings, but it says you may begin. I drew it. And I did, just for kicks and giggles, I'm doing Portsmouth, Tiverton and Bristol. And then it gives me, you may begin the drawing on the map, clear or exit.
I don't think you drew then.
What's that?
Did you see like a black circle or?
Yeah, I got a triangle.
Did you draw the triangle or did it pick it?
I drew it.
So
Okay.
let me clear and redraw then. I'm gonna do a
Yeah,
quick
so-
draw. Quick draw.
So I'm drawing and now it just, the tab up the top just says you may begin drawing on the map, clear or exit. So the only way for me to get rid of that is either clear it or exit.
So I think only the radius has a search because you'll see it's doing the search up here.
Okay,
When I drew that, you don't have, it's only for the radius.
got it.
Oh, I'm confused.
So if you do the drawing,
Yeah.
so I just got out of that. So if I draw and I want, and I'm just gonna do
Oh, I
quick
see
draw,
what it is. Okay.
and I just draw. No, I don't want that. Showing me everything now, so it's getting a little bit crazy.
That's what I get. You may begin, just clear and exit. Okay.
So I'm gonna scroll in a little bit more and I just wanna draw around here. Now, no, it's only gonna pull Massachusetts listings in. See how it got rid, okay, there we are. It's only gonna pull Massachusetts listings in if you draw in Massachusetts, if they're in the Rhode Island MLS.
Mhm.
So you may, if you have somebody looking in both Mass and Rhode Island and you have access to PIN, you may have to do 2 different property tours. Just so you guys know, I mean, so if you're sitting there saying, but they're looking in Westport, it's not, the listings aren't showing up. It's because you can only search one MLS at a time. So I just want to kind of play with this because I want these guys to sit there. I don't want 8 listings.
So Julie, to go back to your question where it says clear or exit, you just don't do anything. If your circle is there, just, it's already pulled your listings. You don't need to clear or exit, just leave it there.
Got it. Okay. Thank you.
So there's no rhyme or reason to what I've just done from a added listings, but just to show you what, because I think the drive time is important. So it's going to, and this is what I love, because the MLS did not do this. It puts it in order that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because the MLS, I used to have to go into my driving instructions and then I would have to sit there and look at a map and make them all in my head, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and call me crazy, but I do most of my directions based on rights and lights.
Mhm.
It's the most efficient way to do a property tour is rights and lights. If you have a light available, it's easier. A right-hand turn is simpler. It's the way UPS delivers packages. But you can move them around if you want. I know Shelley's like, she's crazy. She's crazy, and I am crazy.
Now I'm gonna tell you what's going on.
I'm neurotic. We all know that. Just accept it. You can change the order. And I love it because Elizabeth is as neurotic as I am, so it's all good.
I just changed the order, yeah.
So you can change the order. Maybe you don't like. So if you're not finding a number like 3 is here. So why am I gonna go? And I know this area better than anybody. Why wouldn't I start at 3? Because I'm closest to Raytheon there. So you need to go up here. You need to go to 1. Oops, 1 more. I just now moved 1. 2 and 3, I think should be moved around. And 4 and 3 should be moved.
So based on time, what if you have an appointment?
Well, obviously, Julie, then you're gonna sit there and fix it.
Right.
Yeah, when you actually start making
Yeah,
the phone calls.
there's
you might
nothing,
need to
there's
address
nothing,
it.
there's nothing more fun than doing the phone calls and trying to figure this.
Yeah, exactly.
I love, and you set your schedule up for every 15 minutes.
Yeah,
And I'll get
can't do that.
Yeah, and I'll get
Okay,
back to
continue.
you
You've
and,
selected your list.
back.
So
Yeah,
go to
I'll say,
continue.
oh, I'm gonna change.
yeah, and then you
Hang on, I
gotta
gotta get
change
caught
it.
up.
It's a royal pain in the neck. So I've done this. I should probably swap 1 and 2. That makes sense for me. So I'm gonna start in Portsmouth. I'm gonna go through Newport. I'm gonna go Jamestown. I'm gonna hit Narragansett. Go to Warwick and then Warren, and I'm gonna need a big drink when I'm done. Because I've just lost
That's a
my
long day.
bloody mind. I'm in the car for the next 6 to 8 hours. But,
Well, you could just take the tunnel across the back.
yeah, so
And we
But-
really need
Under the
that.
bay.
I have had buyers that have done this to me. And it's typically, and Wendy and Shelley can attest to this, and Patty, it's a relocation buyer who's coming to the area and they have no
One day to
clue
follow.
about Rhode Island. I can live anywhere. How many times have we had people say, I can live anywhere? So these are the ones that they selected that they want to see. Fine, I'll go see
How do
them.
they select them?
Because they're on a search.
Oh, all right.
Yeah,
So
they're
They're on
it's
an
not-
MLS search. You've got them set up on an
you-
MLS search.
Yeah, okay.
Like a
It's not like
normal,
they're going to realtor.com.
well, they could, but
Yeah, they are.
It's outdated.
well, realtor.com is not outdated. Zillow is outdated. Realtor.com is a direct feed from the MLS. And when you get your websites, it will be a direct feed from the MLS. So your website is going to be as accurate as realtor.com. So you're just going to hit continue once you're happy. And here's your presentation. So I'm going to go to look at, if you click on them, here's your drive time. We love it for Portsmouth because look, it takes 11 to 12 minutes to get to and from work. But let's look at a different one. Oops, sorry. And they can click on everything in here.
I rented that house to the right of it.
That one? Oh, that's, I know what house.
Narragansett?
No, that's Portsmouth,
No, Narragansett Boulevard.
Park Ave.
Yeah.
I'm doing something wrong.
Oh my
Okay, we'll look at
goodness.
it.
Yeah.
So if I go into Narragansett and I do my calculate drive time. So now we've gone up to 30 minutes, which may be fine for them. But you want to look at the other side of it too, because how many people are going over the bridge? And you have to caveat this, this is not with construction. And Mount Hope Bridge and the Newport Bridge are always under construction, especially in the summer, because why not work on bridges in the worst time of the year? Let's go up to Warren.
They used to work on the Newport Bridge right down the road of Boat Show.
So you work for Chip?
So, I
I
mean,
remember
Warren
that.
is only
Oh,
less than 13
yeah.
miles away, but we're at 28 minutes. Again,
Bullshit, you
this is-
can't get in, Warren.
right. And that does not
4
include
a.m.
the construction on Medicom and the construction on Hope Street. in Bristol.
And the school buses.
And the school buses. So
Wow.
they do, so you do have to have conversations with people. What's a 30-minute drive? And remember, as Elizabeth will remind you, everything is relative. They might be coming from LA, where a 30-minute drive is a walk in the park. So be careful about the conversation that you're having with them. Know your buyer. If they're coming from Dallas, Texas, they're stationed at the Air Force in Texas or something, and they drive to some of these places, they're used to driving an hour to get to work. So maybe that may not bother them. Like you were saying, there's no way I would live in Warren and go to Raytheon. But they don't care because that's what they've always done. So it may not seem as crazy for them as we think it is for us. So this is the calculate drive time for, I think this is Warwick. This is probably the worst one. So Warwick is 40 miles away, but maybe they're married, their wife wants to be around Target, Trader Joe's, and all that other stuff. And people are baffled that we drive 20 minutes to get to a Target here. And what do you mean there's not one on the island? How many times have you heard that though?
No.
What do you mean? You've never heard that?
I lived in Omaha, Nebraska when I first got out of college. I mean, going to the movies was a weekend trip.
Where'd
Yeah,
the
you got
drive
an
time
overnight.
come from?
No.
But-
so
I'm
Boys
not,
Town, I worked at
it's
Boys
not
Town.
pulling in for me.
Because
I'll look at it in a second.
that was
Yeah.
the first
Um,
congressman. I
So
We're
this
both
is,
doing the same
this
thing.
is the
Okay.
buyer's
We're missing
property
something.
tour. So one of the things that you can do on on any of these property tours is add a video. So I'm going to add a page and I'm going to create a new page. I'm going to build a page. I am only going to put the video in, so I'm just going to grab the single box. These are boxes that you can put text in, you can put videos, pictures, so if I was working on my testimonials, I would grab like probably this one because I would want to put a title and then I would want to put testimonials in. The great thing is it'll adapt the boxes to the size of your image. So you're not having to sit there and create different size images like Zap used to make you do.
So what's the video you're gonna play?
So I'm going to go to YouTube, and I just know that Discover Newport has a video about Newport.
Oh.
And I'm going to tell you, I have it bookmarked. I believe I have it bookmarked. Let me see if I do.
John has a video too, doesn't he?
My husband does, yeah, and it's a good point.
Maybe not the whole island. But
He does.
You're looking for, I didn't hear you.
I know that Discover Newport's got a great video on Newport.
Oh, got it,
Right here.
okay.
So if they're coming from the area, and I'm gonna,
This is your living
Sorry.
room / yoga shanties / regional
We're all
office
pulling it.
/ and this is the basement
why you want
/
it shut
attic.
off?
and
All right.
Ad, you gotta watch
Oh,
the ad.
Well,
You
I
can
can
watch
mute,
the
I
ad?
can mute it though. So I'm gonna grab the URL for this video, just a copy of everything that's up in that search bar.
Cool.
I'm gonna bring it back into MoxiPresent. I'm in the wrong one, sorry. I'm gonna say video right here. I'm gonna, all right, I might have done it before. I'm gonna add that video. Add.
So that page will be saved in your library.
Yep.
Right,
Mhm. So here it is. I'm gonna put it into my library. I'm gonna hit save.
How did you get rid of the ads?
The ad comes up in YouTube anyway. It does,
Yeah.
it's not part of the video. It's just a separate video that YouTube will load because this is a YouTube channel that's been monetized. So when you monetize a YouTube channel, you can get paid off it from ads. Just hit save, and I'm gonna call it Discover. Or I'm not gonna say video because I've already called it a video. I don't need to make a description.
so that will not have ads?
No, it
No.
will when they click on it, but it won't in your presentation.
Well, how did you do that? So I'm saying, how did you do that?
You don't have to do anything. It's YouTube that is putting that 20-second video.
Oh, before
before
the
the ad.
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
all right.
So I'm gonna save it. It's as simple as that. Give it a chance to save, click out of it. It's automatically added it here. I don't necessarily want it. I'm gonna put it towards the end for them. So when they preview it, it's especially nice for people that aren't coming from the area.
So when you were helping me build my pages, see that bottom white?
Yep.
How do you, that showed up on a lot of them, like my.
It might have been the template that you chose, so
Alright,
that we'll
okay.
have to look at that. This one should not, and
you
we'll
can't
find
get it
out.
to- You can't get it to fit the whole.
We'll find, this is just a preview screen. This isn't the actual
Oh, okay, all
presentation.
right, all right.
And so the other thing we talked about, you can also add a PDF. Oops, I didn't want to add from the library. I'm sorry.
You want to put your testimonials in there, right?
I could, they're already my buyer. So I'm gonna add a page. I'm gonna create a new page. I'm gonna upload a PDF. I'm gonna choose a file. This is one I had in Canva I was showing before we started. This is and please, I'm not sharing this with anybody because this has not been edited for Rhode Island. This is just one I found. If you have somebody coming in from Newport, you know the Newport fact sheet
Yeah.
about trash and
Yeah,
all
yeah,
that
yeah.
other parking
Yeah,
path,
yeah, yeah.
you can upload that.
Yeah.
Or you can take that data and make it prettier to brand it to you. I wish that each town had a welcome to Portsmouth, one-page PDF, maybe.
Sometimes you can.
Sometimes you can find them information on the town hall,
Yeah.
create your own. Just make sure that the information stays updated. Or for Portsmouth, I wouldn't put the cost of a transfer station pass in there because it changes every year. But I would put how to go about getting it, how to go about getting a beach pass for Portsmouth, so you can go to Sandy Point for
Anybody
free.
live in Middletown other than me?
No, just you.
Middletown doesn't have a dump, right?
No,
No, you just have trash pickup.
No, but what if I wanted to throw away a couch?
you gotta do bulk waste days.
Have to do what? Oh, you can't, I can't take it to the Newport and pay for it?
Mm-mm.
Oh,
I don't think so.
I will say, just because I'm waiting for this to upload and we're just chatting, e-waste can be brought to Little Compton from anybody in the state of Rhode Island.
It's very exciting.
I know, but if you have a computer, you have a
Oh,
TV
e-waste,
to get
yeah.
rid of, they're the central point for Rhode Island. So you can go to the Little Compton transfer station as a resident of Rhode Island and get rid of e-waste.
Have to make an appointment, or anything?
Mm-mm.
Drive in?
Normal operating hours.
Good information.
It's this little stuff that lives in my
Just put it
brain.
on the street and pull
Everybody will take anything at Fall River.
it. Or even Island Park.
So this is 10 pages. I probably shouldn't have done a 10-page document to bring in here, but I did. So you're gonna see how long it takes to upload a 10-page page. So the where I got this is a buyer's guide, and I'll just. Can you see my home buyer's guide on the screen or not?
Yeah, we can see it loading.
All right, I want to stop that for a second. I want to show you this. This is what I'm loading. And I showed this to Julie before. This is a home buyer's guide that I found on Facebook. And there's a Canva for realtors, real estate agents Facebook group. And people share this stuff all the time. For free. And it's all editable in Canva. So I pretty much clicked on the link, brought it into my Canva, and I've started to play with it. This stuff is not branded to me, so I will go in and I will clean it up. We don't have a termite inspection requirement for the state of Rhode Island, so I would clean that up. So just make sure if you are going to get any information from a termite inspection, that's only required for VA. Is it only required? Yeah, just VA. I did start to change the colors on this to make it branded to me. So this is what we're currently uploading. And so this is good. Obviously Tanisha Walker's the one that made this.
Tanisha.
I'm not Tanisha.
Nice.
Sorry, Chris. Steve, you have a call. Can you step away or do you want to call her back?
Well,
She's
I don't
fine
know,
with
Chris
that.
won't wait for me, but.
Now it'll be lost forever.
All right,
It's
I'm
all
gonna
right,
go,
Joe will catch you up after the meeting.
I'm gonna go back, see what it's doing. 6. But that's the stuff so a lot of times people ask me and they load up as individual pages. So I don't necessarily want these individual pages where they put them. So I would and this is kind of a pain, but should not have picked a 10-page document. But I would just move them down to where I want them.
Can you shift and control and grab them all at one time and drag them?
I think it might confuse Moxie.
No.
It looks like
Okay.
it's thinking slowly right now.
Okay.
I'm probably, well, we have a bunch of us on the Wi-Fi right now too, so that probably doesn't help the situation right now.
So they copied all 10 pages to the top of your report.
But it's not, how, I mean, this isn't that difficult
No.
to do.
No, but I'm not-
Can't you
it's
save
not-
this, can't you save it as a PDF so it'll be just one page? Like
But it-
one,
No, it will not say, because, and it's got to do with scrolling, the way you scroll on a web. So, I mean, here's the deal. It's, and I'm gonna show you what you can do. Once I get these to where I want them, making sure I'm keeping them in the right order.
You're doing a great job.
Thank you. I didn't there though,
Except for
Show.
there,
You
sorry.
jinxed me.
Went right to your head.
Okay. So say that this is my buyer property tour presentation that I want to do for everybody. Save it as a template. And write Chris's buyer's tour. Just save it. So now I don't have to do this every time. I should have said my Newport buyer's tour or something.
Yep.
So, but this is, I would.
That's what the PDF you just saved, you mean?
I saved the whole presentation as this is my template for the future.
Oh, all right.
So when
now she'll
I,
just change the
when I-
listings.
I got you.
when
But
I,
Alex
yeah,
said
so
it's
when
not.
I go to the home page and I select my templates, it will, I want to get this, my agent profile to the bottom. Not being very nice. I'm making this system mad right now because I'm not giving it a chance to process because I'm impatient. Let me just let it. So if you save it as a template, do you remember at the beginning when we said create new
Yeah.
and it says my template, then you would select my template.
So the other, one of our challenges was to create the recognition page, but then
Yeah,
was to create a biography page, but we're already getting it from.
I think I said market. I'll have to look. I have my custom marketing plan on as in my as a template also.
And what I'm saying is, that I think you wanted us to create a biography.
Not everyone has a bio though, Chris.
And so the bio that I have that's in wherever.
Some
is
people
gonna
have a
come-
resume.
Should be here.
Some people have a resume. I mean, if your bio is in Dash, it'll show up in Moxie.
When you were just doing those reports, were you seeing your bio? Just, oh, you weren't doing it. So when you go in and do
No,
it,
I was
just,
trying to do one of her assignments. But
yeah.
Then she just said,
So when you do this, if you have a bio and it's in Dash, it will populate.
all right, so no.
So just make sure it's in there. And if it's not, then let me
Right,
know
so
and we'll fix it.
remember some of the issues I have with phone number and all that, you're still trying to work out?
Yep.
Will I be able to edit that in there?
No,
No, everything has to be edited in Dash.
sorry, I'm hitting refresh because I think I made the thing mad. Okay, so it is the way I want it now. Okay. So when you're in here and you hit view and you go to the web version, and this is the last thing we're going to do on the recording side of this. To send it, it's the same exact way as you send a presentation with the send button. This is an old picture of Raytheon. There aren't that many cars there anymore. I mean, be conscious about how you're doing it. But these are in the order. You'll see the order that I've sent them. They can click on the listing. They can get directions.
On the PDF,
No, this is
the
the
web? oh,
this is
okay.
the web.
While you're on that page, I just want to point out to everybody that in the top left-hand corner, you can switch properties without going back to your selection of properties.
Where's the top left-hand corner again?
So if I'm in here,
Click on a property,
Yeah,
see the
Yeah,
tan
the
bar at the
arrows.
top,
I
you
can
can
see it.
switch between properties without going back.
so this is where they can sit there as a consumer and they can do 4 stars and they can make notes. Because I'm looking at this as a consumer right now. And they can tell you why they didn't or didn't like it. And then when you open the presentation in Moxie, you get to see what they thought of it.
so just as a learning experience teaching, talking to 2 former teachers, We don't like to be upstood in a class. Steve wasn't gonna say anything about it.
What's that? I missed it.
Oh my gosh.
Nothing,
So
it's just-
here's another one. So I could take out HOA dues. Like, remember how we took out original listing price before? And going to the edit, and these don't have HOA, so I could take that out. This one has a water view, so you might want to leave it in because that is going to impact the price of that. So
Waterfront.
yeah, it's actually right on the water. Those people that live on Park Ave get that luxury. Steve lives on Park Ave.
Things like that.
Downtown Island Park, man.
So here's the video.
That's not where you grew up, though.
No, he grew up.
No.
So here's the video, and they're gonna scroll through it. There's a little bit of white space, but
Still got the
that's fine.
lawnmower. Still got the lawnmower.
I
Used to
did
cut
not
grass,
fix my
remember, years
pages,
ago?
Shelley, so I think that my 1 and 2 are off again. So
Yeah.
my pages are not in the right order, so this is a good time to look at this to make sure you're like 1 and 2 are off. So I would go back in here before I sent it,
Yeah.
and I would move this up. Now they're in the correct order. And if you did save this as a template, you're gonna wanna resave it. So they're gonna stay out of order because I haven't refreshed the URL. But make sure you're viewing it and you're seeing it. If this is good for a buyer presentation, you could create a custom template that with just your buyer information in there. So that way, when you have a new buyer, you have a presentation to send them when you meet them, like expectations and things like that. So there's a lot of really good information that you can get in here.
So you're saying generic, this is Chris Parati.
Yeah, you can easily do a generic buyer presentation. Like I sit down with new buyers and I have questions that I ask them.
Yeah.
But there's plenty of information out there, as my husband calls it, the interweb.
www.
He calls it the interweb. I'm just gonna stop sharing right now. I just want to hit,
Can you send us a copy of your, not that we would plagiarize?
I'm gonna hit